Hello and welcome to our 5 minutes with Ekaterina tips and tricks for learning a language. Today we are talking about the textbook and how to choose the proper textbook. The importance of the good textbook is very hard to overestimate because the best and the fastest way to learn a language from the scratch is to find a textbook. Of course, maybe you're watching some videos online, you're watching these hyper polyglots or just polyglots who are saying that the best way to learn a language is to immerse yourself into the language environment, and it is partly true. I'm saying partly true because as for me, as for the person who lived for 2 years in China and learned maybe 5% of my Chinese being there, it didn't work. Because I cannot spare all my time just to learning the languages. I have to work. I work as a teacher. I have to do my job. I have to prepare for my classes. And I simply don't have enough time to immerse myself fully, to go on the streets, to talk to people. And even if I go there, people sometimes they just don't want to talk to some starter learner, and they just want to have a normal conversation, but they don't want to teach some stranger a new language. That's why the immersing thing, which is the best and obviously the most interesting, the most exciting way, sometimes it is impossible. Sometimes you even cannot go to the target country, the country which uses your target language as an official language, or where people speak this language, especially now with the pandemic. And you simply sometimes don't have enough time to immerse yourself. You simply don't have a possibility to go abroad. You simply don't think that you can just turn on the TV and the knowledge will stick to you, which is completely not true. And that's why for you, if you have a limited time, if you want to see the first results very fast, the textbook is the best way to learn a language. But not every textbook can be proper, and not every textbook will suit your needs. That's why right now will tell you my experience and my ideas on how to use the textbook and how to pick a proper textbook. First of all, you need to find a textbook which is appropriate to your age. I'm putting the age on the first place because when I was at the university, we had the whole semester of learning the age pedagogy, and I know for a fact that different ages, they have different interests, people of different ages have different interests, and that you cannot use the books designed for children if you are learning as an adult. And moreover, adults of different ages, they have different interests, they have different backgrounds, and you simply cannot use any textbook designed for somebody. There are special books for children of the different age, there are special textbooks for teenagers, and there are special textbooks for adults. So if you are an adult learner, please pick the textbook for an adult learner. The second important thing is that it should be appropriate to your language level. If you are an advanced learner, it's obvious that you wouldn't use the textbook for beginners, and this is kind of course thing. But if you are an intermediate user, and you see so many textbooks for intermediate users, and intermediate is a very broad definition. If you watched my previous videos where I told you about these language levels, I told you that each level takes twice as much time to get to, and each next level, it comprises so many new information, and the intermediate level is somewhere starting from the simple phrases, simple communication, and ending to this low, highest level, like this upper intermediate, when you can write the simple articles, when you can go to the university as a student, or even not even on bachelor's degree, but on master's degree. So this, when you're an intermediate student, you might be very confused. Firstly, because you don't really know on which stage of the intermediate level you are, and the book just says intermediate. And secondly, is that sometimes for intermediate learners, we simply don't have enough resources and don't have enough textbooks. That's why if you're on this stage, if you're right now an intermediate learner, you would need to go through this textbook just when you're in the shop or when you're downloading something online. You need to go through the pages and you need to look at the pages to somehow evaluate how much of this vocabulary can you read, how much vocabulary do you know, and what can you do with these textbooks. Are you familiar with these tasks? Would these topics would be hard or not hard, too easy for you? And when you're doing it, you need to pick the textbook where you can understand clearly at least 40% of what is there. You should be able to, with easiness, to go through the first unit and the second unit, because usually it's just reviewing of what you have done before. And after the second unit, you should be able to understand at least 40% of what's going on without any dictionary, without any kind of stressing yourself, without any additional knowledge. And if it's 50, it's fine. If it's 60, it's fine. But if you can understand more, it wouldn't be that much effective. And if you understand less, you will have to suffer too much, and it would be also quite useless too. So if you're an intermediate learner or if you're some advanced beginner, you need to take the textbook and to see if you can use it, if it will be easy for you, if you will have enough information from it, or if you can understand what is in there. That's how you can define your level. The third thing you need to check is if the textbook has an engaging content for you. Because without the engaging content, without the emotional connection to the text, without interest, your education will be too boring and it will slow you down so much. We are learning much better when our emotions are involved, when our thoughts are involved, when you will think about it after you close your textbook. And that's why the textbook should be interesting. Just a small example, with my youngest student who is 9 years old, we are going through the textbook with dragons, and dragons are his favorite. He remembers what was going on with the dragon, and that's how he has this emotional connection. He knows the colors because he remembers that the dragons were painted in these colors. And for my older students who are 12 years old, I have 2 students now who are 12 years old, we are reading the textbooks about the space traveling, and there is an imaginary story that the children are traveling in open space, and it has a lot of information about the satellites, it has a lot of information about the open space. And the vocabulary is a little bit difficult for them. It is a traveling vocabulary, but it's quite difficult for their level. But they want to do it because it's interesting to know what's going on in this text, and they want to discuss against this text. And with my other student who is an adult now, we went through the textbook describing some everyday situations, some life stories, some happenings with other people, and we can discuss a lot afterwards. We can talk about it, we can remember our own stories, which also helps. It creates these necessary connections, it suits the level of each student, and it gives the emotional connection. The content is engaging, and that's how we can be more effective in our studies. The last thing I want to mention today is that the textbook should suit your goals. If you are preparing for the test, you need to take the textbook dedicated to this test. If you want to develop your reading skills, if you want to expand your vocabulary, you should take the textbook with a lot of texts, with explanations, with using of the expressions in the right place. If you want to listen, there are a lot of textbooks providing you with the listening material, with the audio, and I always advise to take the textbook which has some kind of listening materials, because you need to train your listening too. And if you feel that you don't understand something, there should be a text and you should listen to it. And Of course, if you want to speak, there are very few textbooks dedicated to speaking. You need to find somebody to speak. Textbooks wouldn't be very helpful in this situation. But the whole idea is that if you have a special language goal, you need to take the textbook which is designed to achieving this goal. And if you just want to learn a language, you need to take the complex textbook which is dedicated to developing different skills. You also can check it when you're going through it, when you're just going through these pages, looking at the textbook, and you can see the type of tasks. You can see if it has a little bit of grammar, if it has text, if it has some audio materials, and what are the tasks in there. That's how you can figure out what is what. I hope it was helpful today. Let me know how you pick your best textbooks, and let me know if you think that you are responsible or you always trust your teacher and you want your teacher to help you with the picking of the proper textbook. Thank you very much for watching. That's all for today. And also special thanks to my patrons on Patreon. That's because of you I can create more of these videos. If you are not there yet and you can, please join this small financial support. And if not, just subscribe to the channel, put your likes, leave your comments. That will help a lot and motivate me so much to develop the channel to create more of such videos. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you very soon. And goodbye for now.